Welcome to the Quantum Revenue Expansion Podcast. My name is Ursula, and I'm a sales expert, strategic business coach, and USA Today bestselling author. I love sharing strategies that show you exactly how to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. If you're looking to take a quantum leap in your revenue or sales, your team, your productivity, your success, and your life, then you are meant to be here. My goal in every episode is to help you take your belief that it's possible to 2x or 10x your revenue while working way less to knowing that it is happening right now. Welcome back, everybody, to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we talk about turning your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. You just get me today. Super excited to hang out with you. Today, we're going to talk about how much it's costing you to not hire a coach. And yes, I'm a coach, but please don't think of this as a shameless plug, because here's the thing. I hire coaches all the time. I love this industry. I love everything about it. I think everyone should have a coach. I know that, in the sports industry, everybody has a coach, or they, in professional athletes have multiple coaches. And so, sometimes we think coaching is kind of like a luxury or this big investment that I need to make. And that's not it at all. What I want you to really get is that having a coach is a game changer. And we'll talk about that today. We'll talk about what it's potentially costing you. And I'm not attached, I'm not saying you have to hire us as your coaches at all. Hire a coach, like find a coach. And we'll talk about different ways you could do that as well. Before we jump in, though, if you haven't yet, download our Belief Zone Masterclass. We brought it back. It was a big hit. And then we kind of put it over here for a minute. And now we're bringing it back. And the link is in the show notes. So it's our Belief Zone Masterclass. And we really dig into, creating that next level quantum revenue container in terms of what your business needs to be, what it should be, whether it's 2xing or 10xing. And then we talk about the beliefs that you really need to have to get there and to solidify what you're trying to create. And we've just gotten rave reviews from our clients who downloaded it. So if you haven't grabbed that yet, definitely get the Belief Zone Masterclass, dig into that, and see where it takes you. It's a great time of year to be doing that. So with that, again, today, how much is it costing you to not hire a coach? Let's go way back, right? So way back in the day, what I wish when I was running someone else's company, I was running a technical training and consulting company at the ripe old age of 27, many, many years ago. And it was lonely. Now, while I wasn't the CEO, it wasn't my own company. I was the president. So the owner was the CEO of the company, but I was still very lonely. And the owner of the company wasn't involved in the day-to-day. He was more of I would say he was more like kind of like board of directors type of interaction. And I think back at that time of sitting in my office by myself, trying to figure things out. And this was a while ago. It was before coaching in the business world was a really big deal. Like now I feel like it's a big deal. Everybody knows about it. Everybody either, people talk about coaching. Not everybody has one yet. That's why we're talking about this today. But it's become more mainstream. Back then it was not. And yet it was starting to kind of catch on. And while I was sitting by myself in that office, that's when I realized, one, I wish I had a coach. And two, that someday I would love to be in the coaching space, because I never wanted anyone to feel so alone. Like it was just so lonely. And at that time, I just remember having decision fatigue, where every day you're just, having to make another decision. I was tired. And there were certain things that I just couldn't, I didn't feel right about bringing to the owners of the company, right or wrong. Like they wanted me to come and talk to them prepared. They wanted to just mostly know the good news, right? Or if there was a challenge, like what I was doing to fix it. Like it wasn't a coaching relationship, which I totally understand. They were the owners of the company. They wanted me to show up, to the meetings, ready to share my plan and what was next. But it was lonely. It was so lonely. And I think about business owners, CEOs, those of you who are listening out there, and, podcasts to me, podcasts are a form of coaching, right? Like you're kind of having this relationship with somebody who's leading the podcast. You might not know them, you might not work privately with them, but it's like this ongoing kind of relationship. And so you get the sense of that, right? It like gets you pumped up, it gets you out of your head, it gets you that support. But just listening to a podcast or just listening to, books on, audiobooks or reading books, a lot of times that's just not, it's not enough. Even a course, if you're in a live course or it's a pre-recorded course, it can feel like that, but you're not getting feedback, right? You're not getting someone to ask you the questions or help you think about something in a different way. And so it's just like, it's like we're in a box by ourselves. And especially, I would say, since the pandemic, I feel like people feel lonelier than ever. In fact, there's some studies that have been done since the pandemic talking about the idea that 60% of people say they don't have like even a close friend. And I think as entrepreneurs, we can isolate even more as we're leading our companies, especially if the company is virtual, which a lot of companies are now. And so I'm just saying this because I want you to find some support. And again, at the end, I have some different resources that I can recommend, but I just want to make sure that you're not trying to do this all by yourself, because it's too hard, right? Like I've been in business long enough to know that there's highs and there's lows in business. And when you're doing it alone and doing it by yourself, it's hard. It's too hard. And the truth is you don't have to do it alone, nor should you want to do it alone. So even if you're an introvert, right? Like I'm kind of an ambivert, which is a little bit introvert, a little bit extrovert. It's in the dictionary, Google it, look it up. I tend to ride kind of in the middle. I do know that even for my introvert friends who, sometimes feel maybe even more isolated, having a coach can be super powerful. I'm sure many of you have listened to our interview we did with Melissa Swink, and she owns the virtual assistant company. She's been at the CEO table since it started and continues to come back, talks about the power of coaching, talks about the fact that, being in a coaching community, in a coaching relationship, added hundreds of thousands of dollars to her business, and just the importance of that support. And it's not just Melissa. Like I haven't had anyone say to me, oh my gosh, I totally wish I would have waited to hire a coach. No one ever says that. Even if you hire a coach and it doesn't go exactly the way that you thought it would, just hiring a coach, I'm telling you, like just paying someone, putting money out there to be coached, that shifts how you show up immediately. I'm not saying just pay someone and like show up differently. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying though, just making an investment in coaching can start to shift how you see yourself, how you show up, and other pieces. The International Coaches Federation says that you are 95% more likely to achieve your goals simply by having a coach. 95%. I mean, I love statistics. I love that statistic. I believe that statistic. I can tell you in my own experience that I definitely would not be where I am today with the business, with the podcast, with all the things that I'm doing if I hadn't hired a coach years ago. I wish, like everybody else, I wish I would have hired a coach sooner. I know I needed one. I know it would have made a tremendous difference in my business. I won't say it's a regret, but if I could go back and do it again, I would have definitely hired a coach sooner. And like, I get it. Here's the thing. Here's the thing though. We don't hire coaches when our bank accounts are overflowing. Most of the time, we don't hire coaches when our bank accounts are like overflowing and we're just killing it, right? That's not when we're like, oh, I need a coach. Most people that are doing that though probably already had a coach. Most of the time when it's time to hire a coach or we need one, there's definitely not, like, you're not paying cash. There's not enough money in the bank account. It's because like things have gotten tough, or you're struggling a little bit. And we always joke, like, it's like, that's never when you like hire a coach. Like you hire a coach because one, you don't want to do it alone anymore. And two, like you've just hit a stalemate. Something's frustrating you. Like you've just gotten stuck. So totally normal, like to feel like hiring a coach is a stretch financially. The one thing I always say to myself when I hire a coach though, is whatever money I invest in a coach, I expect a 10x return on that. Okay. So if I spend $10,000 on a coach, I expect $100,000 to come back to me in my business. I don't go into making investments without that expectation. And when clients come to work with us, they should expect to have a massive return on their investment, right? That's why they're hiring a coach. I want them to go in with that expectation, because when you have that expectation, right, you get what you expect, you get what you're thinking about. So that can also, like, if you go into a coaching relationship and you've invested money and you're like, oh, this probably isn't going to work out, you're right. It's probably not going to work out. And so don't invest then. But if you can go into a coaching relationship and say, you know what, this coach is where I want to go, or this coach has a certain kind of experience I want to learn from. I know this coach is going to make a difference for me. I'm going to see those opportunities. I'm going to work the coaching program. That's the other thing, right? When you show up in a coaching relationship, you actually have to do the work. Your coach isn't going to do it for you. So like, you show up ready to make it happen. And when you do that, you're going to get the results. So that's kind of the backstory why I obviously, I'm an advocate for coaching. I believe in it. I wouldn't be without a coach. And sometimes I have multiple coaches. So here's what it might be costing you to not hire a coach or not be working with a coach. Number one, it's probably costing you confidence. I can tell you that every time I've hired a coach, it has boosted my confidence. And I'm thinking back, when I made my first big investment in coaching, it was 2009. And and I can guarantee you at that time, I think it was $10,000. I did not have the $10,000 in my bank account. And I remember texting my husband, calling him, like, at that time, I didn't know where the money was going to come from. Now, do I still text my husband? No, he doesn't care. Tim does not care what I'm spending money on my business. He knows that every investment I make, it comes back to me. At the time, though, still kind of, I've been in business for a little while, but it, wasn't where I wanted it to be. And we're coming out of the recession. Like, there was not even coming out of it. We were in the recession, and there was just like, we owned a lot of real estate. We were losing a lot of money. So it was kind of a risky time, put it that way. It felt like a risky time to be investing $10,000 in anything. And I remember having this conversation with Tim, and he said something to me, and this is, where we give a shout out to all of our spouses who support us as entrepreneurs. He said, whenever you make an investment, you always get an incredible return. He goes, you wouldn't do this and not get an incredible return. He's like, I just know that it's going to be great for you. So it was super encouraging. And so I did it. Like it was like I put, $10K on a credit card. Best thing I ever did, like shifted everything. And my confidence went up dramatically, because this coach that I was working with, she was where I wanted to be. She had a very successful 7-figure business. She had, I think it was actually multiple 7 figures. She was a best-selling author. Like, she had just all these things going for her. And I thought, I want to learn from her. And she oozed confidence. I will say I did not have a lot of confidence then. It just, after I left corporate America and started my own company, like, my confidence just went upside down. So it was at a time where I needed to lean into someone else's confidence. I also needed to lean into someone else's belief in me. Yes, I had a belief in myself, but in business, like, it was new to me. I was still learning, right? I was still learning how to just be a business owner on my own, different from running someone else's company. And so having a coach allows them to hold the belief in you until your belief catches up. And that's what we do for our clients today, right? We hold the belief that our clients can have a multi-6, 7, 8-figure business, right? We hold that belief and we hold that vision with them until their belief catches up. And that's what this coach really, really did for me at that time. So my confidence really soared. The other thing not having a coach is costing you is, and I touched on this a little bit, but like digging deeper, even more than confidence, like once you're confident, it leads to peace of mind, right? The peace of mind and the knowing that more money is coming. Money needs to flow. And this is all about really letting the money flow through your company. That gives you peace of mind. So I know when there's not enough money in the bank, it's hard to have peace of mind. Or when you're not sure where the next clients are coming from, maybe you're behind on your marketing and sales. It's like, I just don't have peace of mind. When you work with a coach who's done it, who's great at marketing, who's great at selling, and they can help you create your marketing and sales plan, you can start to see it. More sales start coming in, or maybe you raise your prices, you change your products, like you do things, right? The coach helps you do things, and suddenly you start to have peace of mind. Peace of mind, right, is priceless. Knowing that the next sales are coming, knowing and trusting that more money is coming because of the things that you're doing. Like, you just can't put a price on that feeling of peace of mind and trust and faith, and knowing that it's okay to spend money, it's okay to invest, because that money is coming back to you. What I'm not saying is just, go out and spend a bunch of money and hope, and just hope, right? I am saying have a clear marketing and sales strategy, hire a coach, or someone that can help you in that space. So then you develop what's really a muscle of having peace of mind and trusting and knowing that more is coming, more money is coming. Okay. And this kind of goes with what I say a lot, which is this: money loves a plan. And some of you who've listened to me for a long time, you've heard this before, right? Money wants to be told where to go, how to show up. And this is why when our clients come to the 2X Intensive, we set up a model month template with them first, because we got to understand, like, what does their 2X in revenue look like? If you're at 20,000 a month and you go to 40,000 a month, what needs to change in terms of your pricing, your packages, your products, how you're positioning them, like just creating that model month template starts to shift a lot of things in terms of what you've been doing, right? And so that's where and then we're telling money where to go. It's like, if you want 40,000 a month or $83,333 a month, that's $1 million a year. If you want that much money to show up, you can't just be like, oh, I hope it comes in. You've got to have a clear plan. I like to think of it as a clear container. And then you're telling money, it's like, okay, here's my $83,333 a month plan. Here's what needs to happen on the front end in terms of marketing and sales for that amount of money to come in. And again, just by building that, what we see with our clients is immediately it's like, oh, we need to raise prices, or, oh, why are you still offering this product or service? Or, I'm trying to think of so many things. Like I can think of a client who, we have a lot of clients in the service space who have service-based businesses, but I can think of a client who had a product-based business, still has a product-based business, and came to us a few years back. And, the second she told me how much she was charging for her products, intuitively, I was just like, I knew it wasn't enough, because she had a luxury product. It was a luxury product, and it wasn't at a luxury price. And so there was a little bit of a limiting belief, right? Or a lot of it of a limiting belief that if I raise my prices, no one's going to buy. People aren't going to show up, right? And the opposite of that was actually true for her. So we had this conversation. I coached her through it, and she doubled her prices. She went home, doubled her prices, raised her prices online that day, called me the next day and was like, you're never going to believe this. Like, I just doubled the amount of sales we did in one day. Or excuse me, I doubled the amount of revenue we did in one day just by doubling my prices. But she had to lean into that belief. And when I believed that for her first, she was able to lean into that belief. So that's the power in coaching and having someone hold that space. And also, again, having a plan so the money knows where to show up, how to show up, how much is coming in, etc. That's the power. So knowing, again, and having that peace of mind, knowing and trusting that money needs to flow, creating a plan for the money so it can show up, and then watching it go into your bank account creates peace of mind. And peace of mind, again, it's a muscle over time, because you get better and better at fine-tuning your marketing plan, your sales plan. The money keeps coming in, it gets better and it gets better. So that was the second thing. First thing is not having a coach is costing you confidence. Second thing it's costing you is peace of mind. Third thing it's costing you is innovation. It's really hard to take risks in your business or create new products or services when you're worried about where the money's coming from. you're not going to feel, again, you're not going to have the peace of mind or the confidence to create something new. And having a coach so that you could talk through what you might want to change or innovation that innovations you might want to make in your company. If you're just talking to yourself and you're talking in circles, it's very, very hard to innovate. Now, some of you have teams, and that can be a great place to like really bounce things off. But again, having that coach who maybe is where you are, or, just at a different level, or has already walked that path and can just talk you through it, allows you to have that space for innovation. And I know when I've been without a coach, it was like, let's just say I didn't innovate. Back the beginning, I don't know, maybe like 6 months into the recession. Yeah, 6 months into the recession, I remember hiring a new coach. I was so excited to hire her. And she had created an incredible business, was where I wanted to be in many ways. And I just loved her work. I loved watching her. I loved working with her. And the second I started working with her, I was able to innovate. Like, we basically burned my old company to the ground, Sales Coach Now. That's when Ursula Inc. was born. That's when the 2X Intensive was born. That's when the CEO Table was born. All of that innovation came out of that coaching relationship. And this was private coaching as well as group coaching. And I personally love to have both. I love the private, and I also love the group coaching. There's nothing more motivating to me than getting on a group call with a bunch of entrepreneurs who are making it happen, who share the same mindset, who are excited about their business, who are they're innovating. They're, talking about 100,000 or more months. It's just a different space. And so being in that container of other entrepreneurs and with a coach who has been there and can really guide you creates that space for innovation. So not having a coach, it's costing you innovation. Fourth, not having a coach is costing you visibility. Now, this kind of ties back to confidence. I can say this. I don't love social media. I consider myself probably more of a private person, and being out on social media is uncomfortable for me. It still is. It's still uncomfortable. Let's just say it. Do I do it anyway? Yeah, absolutely. Do I have a team that helps me? Yeah, absolutely. Did being in a coaching program in the past help me become more visible and more willing to be visible? Yes, because my coach and the other entrepreneurs in the group kicked my butt. They were like calling me on all my BS, right? Calling me on all the stuff of not being visible. Because the truth is, and this is one of the lessons I've gotten over the years from coaches and from being in coaching groups, is by not being visible, we're doing a disservice to others who need our products and services, right? So if I'm not being visible, if I'm not putting it out there and I'm just a well-kept secret, who am I helping? Where's the ripple effect? It's not there at all, right? I mean, having a podcast, super visible, I get that. Like, I launched this podcast, a version of this podcast in 2017. I can't believe it when I say that. And I was giving a shout out to Tina Pettis because she was, I was working with her marketing company at the time. She was one of my mentors in the marketing space, and, gave me a good push. She's like, why aren't you doing a podcast? I'm like, I don't know. Why am I not doing a podcast? And that's when I made the decision. And since then, we've either had at least 2 shows a month, if not now we're back on track. We're doing 4 shows a month minimum, and have so many episodes, 200 and some episodes out there, super visible. Does that make me uncomfortable at times? Yeah. But what's my bigger why, right? Why do I do this? So I lean back into my mission whenever I don't want to be visible. And my mission, the mission of my company, is to help entrepreneurs like you make a lot of money so you can give back to the organizations you care about and live a great life. Because I know that entrepreneurs, we love to give. We love to give. And certainly you can give your time, which is great. And what I notice is that the people that come into our community, they love to write checks. They love to give money. They love to make a difference. And that has a ripple effect, a massive ripple effect out into the world. Because I can't help everybody, but the more entrepreneurs that we bring into our community and the more visible they become, the more people they help, the bigger ripple effect, right? And I think that for most coaches, right, that's what we want to do. We want to have this incredible ripple effect out in the world. So really ask yourself that question: how much is it costing me to not be visible? And how could a coach help me become more visible, right? How could they kind of hold you accountable to be willing to put yourself out there, to be willing to be on social media or to be on stages or, whatever it is that you are called to do. And the fifth thing I want to cover in terms of how much is it costing you? It's costing you millions. It's costing you millions. Over time, like if you stay in business long enough, it's costing you millions. And let's just, do the math. A lot of our clients have said not hiring us sooner costs them around $200,000 to $225,000 a year. That's what we've heard, ballpark, right? Because that's how much they increase revenue pretty quickly. Over, like if it grows, right? For them, like if they double or triple their revenue, maybe the next year so the first year, maybe they add 200,000 or 225,000. Maybe the next year they add $500,000, right? Maybe the next year, another $500,000 or more. That's already $1 million. Just in 3 years, not hiring a coach would have cost them $1 million or more. And for some clients, it's a lot more than that, right? So think about that for a moment. Like really think about it. How much is it costing you to stay exactly where you are and not hire a coach or a mentor? How much is it costing you? I want to invite you to take a next step, whether it's with us or with somebody else. Take a next step. Like if you're interested in, what it would be like to work with myself and with Rebecca, there's a link in the show notes, ursulainc.co/apply. And that's actually for the 2X Intensive because that's where everybody starts. It's a 2-day course to really build the revenue model that you want to create and look at how to shave 10 or more hours off your work week while also starting to build your team. So we cover a lot in those 2 days. And we also work with you before you get there. So even before you get to the 2X Intensive, you are in a private 30-minute coaching session with Rebecca to nail down your model month template. So we know what needs to shift for you to 2X. And then when you come to the 2 days, we dig deep into, all right, what do you believe about that? What are the beliefs that you have to shift? What does your new marketing and sales plan look like? What are we doing with your team? How much is it costing you not to hire even a part-time person in certain areas? So this is powerful. Like if you're ready to shave 10 or more hours off your work week and make more money, that's what happens at the 2X Intensive. And then in the afternoon of the day 2, we talk about how to take a massive quantum leap in your revenue, even more. So much happens in that time. And if you're feeling called and you haven't hung out with us there yet, again, you can go to ursulainc.co/apply, send in your details, and we'll set up a time. Someone on my team will chat with you about how we can help you and how the 2X Intensive could make a difference for your business as well. So that's the first step to work with us. If you're, newer in business and kind of like brand new in business, I definitely recommend checking out SCORE. And SCORE is retired executives who have either had their own company or worked in big corporations, and they mentor business owners for free. Or check out your local small business development center. A lot of times they have amazing classes, resources, and sometimes they have mentors that you can work with as well. We will put all of that in the show notes. So again, how much is it costing you? It's costing you confidence. It's costing you peace of mind. It's costing you innovation. It's costing you visibility, and it's probably costing you millions over time. So I just want to encourage you, like this, again, find a coach that can really support you or a mentor to have your best year yet, right? Like really, like what would it be like to set yourself up to have the most incredible year yet so you can do all the things that you want to do in your life? Like it's waiting for you. It's right there. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out this week. If there's anything we can do for you, you can email us at contact@ursulainc.co. That's it for now. Make this your most epic month yet. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to leave a review on iTunes so I know what you like and can create content that guides you to up-level your business even more. If you want more strategic business tips, follow me on social media. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and you can visit my website at www.ursulainc.co. I love being on this journey with you and can't wait to connect with you on the next episode. In the meantime, make this your most epic month yet.